All right, Carlo, co-founder of Culinary Harvest. When Sam and I first came up with this concept about a year ago, one of the conversations out of a million was post-COVID, we'd be able to run around and meet all our producers that we built this business with during the lockdown. So stop one, Caputo Brothers Creamery. We're really excited to get and meet in person Rynn and David with Caputo, who basically revolutionized cheese making in the U.S. by doing old world Italian style cheeses, just the highest quality outside of Italy. So here we go, and we're gonna meet them in person and check out the creamery.
Hey everybody, this is Carlo and Dara. They're from Culinary Partners. This is the crew. Size. So this is what actually goes into the restaurants. And then this is actually the new ricotta salata. So these were completely full when they started. Now,
so when were they filled?
maybe an hour ago.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
So they'll start with 8 pounds. Then today they'll get to about 7, 6.5. Then we'll put a weight in it to press it down. They'll get to 4. Then we'll salt them and put them in the cave. I'll show you in just a minute. And they'll get down. By the time we're done, they're 2 pounds.
Oh.
So we start with 8 pounds of ricotta. We end up with 2 pounds. 6 weeks later, 2 pounds of ricotta salata.
Literally salted.
Yep. So Southern
That was
Italians
amazing.
didn't have the money for, right? So Italians, if they're going to add salt to a dish, they're typically going to do it after it's plated. They're going to do it through cheese. So in the north, it's grana padano. In the central, it's parmigiano reggiano, or maybe pecorino romano as you get a little further south. In the deep south, those cheeses were all too expensive. Those are all cheeses, not recooked whey. In the south, they had a lot of whey left over. They would recook. If they didn't eat it fresh, they would make it into ricotta salata. And that would be a great cheese. It was very inexpensive. It was very hot down there, so they would dry it very quickly. But it's typically a cheese in most of the parts of southern. So in Calabria, Basilicata, Puglia, if you get it, it's typically bright white and aged very, very quickly and super salty.
Really salty, yeah.
You can't slice and eat it, or shouldn't.
Right.
But in a certain part of Sicily, there's a cheese, actually a large format provolone called Ragusano. It's in Ragusa, near Mount Etna. And there's a lot of caves. And in those caves, which stay cool year-round, they would make the provolone that would hang, and they would age in the caves alongside it ricotta salata, allowing this beautiful mold to grow on the outside. So it's less salt. It's still a grating cheese. Have you guys had ricotta salata before? It's still a grating cheese, but it's got this really cool funk on the outside, so you can slice and eat it. And it's so we've actually brought the mold from there and inoculated our cave with it so that we could replicate the same thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So this is the cheese I was explaining before. So you can see that was made yesterday. Now it's being pressed. And then tomorrow it will get salted. And then it'll move to here. So actually, these are younger. So this, you can see the little bit of butter fat that was left in it is actually getting drawn out by the salt. And you can see this size is 4 pounds. These, see how much smaller they become. So this is probably about 4 weeks here. So that's just a couple of days old. This is maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, this might be 5. And on the 6th week, they'll come out completely. So we'll do what's called knockdown. So the blue mold is a penicillin or a forte, just like you would have in traditional blue style cheeses. the white is actually a wild yeast that comes from here. And one of the things I love about this cheese is when we set off to design this cheese or replicate it from what we had in Italy. In Italy, they're perfectly blue, right? No white. And the first 3 months, they were perfect. And all of a sudden, we started getting the white growing with it. And I immediately freak out and I tell my cheesemakers, I'm like, no, we have this incredible cheese, it's perfect. So there's a lot of techniques you can do to keep the white off of it. But you can see it's prolific, right?
Yeah.
So we send it out to the lab, we're like, tell us what organism we're working with so we can figure out what's new. And they came back and said it's this yeast native to here. And they said good luck getting rid of it because it loves to cohabitate with this Penicillium forte. And so the cheesemaker who was in charge of the project at the time says to me, Rynn, whatever's better. Can we just let some go? And I'm like, no. It's not how, I had it in my head. And he goes, but can we just try? And I said, yeah, let's do it. And it was better.
Nice.
And it was one of those things where Mother Nature was like, yo, we got this.
Yeah.
Relax.
That's amazing. That's awesome. What a great story.
And so curd all goes down to the bottom. There you go. So is this Fior di pizza? Curd? This will all become Fior di pizza through the machine here, and once it gets to the proper pH. So for making mozzarella style cheeses, provolone, Fior di pizza, any of that, you need to be in a pH between 5.3 and 4.9. So they have a pH meter, they'll be checking. They have a little piece to taste. You'll see at this point, it's still, do you have any idea what the pH is of this?
This is probably 5.4.
5.4, so we're close.
Yeah, it's a little higher than when you express it. It's still pretty sweet, but you're starting to get a little bit of that lactic tang right on the back of the palate there. But rubbery. You know, it's very soft. If you look in there, it's got little fingers that are stretching it.
good.
So
It's amazing.
it comes across
Yeah, it's
as
almost
really, really
Custard.
creamy, right?
Yeah.
But it's actually nearly fat-free. The reason it's got that creaminess is because that albumin protein is so delicate. And so on the palate, it's really soft and tender, so it comes across as super decadent. But what's great about it is because, yeah, go ahead.
Especially, I mean, it says fat free, so.
Yeah, super high in protein, super low in fat.
That's,
But it'll
Crazy to
emulsify
think
the
that.
way it's supposed to.
yeah.
It will, it actually melts the way it's supposed to. Because it is cheese as opposed to just being coagulated milk solids.
Interesting. That's